when he'd first arrived. Not that he'd had much doubt her daughter was telling the truth. "What did my father say when Missy told him about the baby?" Beau asked. "He wanted her to have an abortion. Missy refused." "I told him I wouldn't do that, no matter what," the girl said, sniffing into the Kleenex. "I told him I wanted to have his child." "It's a little girl, Beau," Josie said with a wobbly smile. "We both love her already." A peculiar tightening settled in his chest. As a kid, he had desperately wanted a brother or sister. By the time he was 5, his parents barely tolerated each other. His mother had died 6 years ago, but now, at 35, he was going to have a little sister. Beau felt a surge of protectiveness toward the young woman carrying his father's child. He looked over to where she sat, hunched forward on the bench on the opposite side of the pink vinyl booth. At the misery in her face, he reached across the formica-top table and covered her hand, gave it a gentle squeeze. "Everybody makes mistakes, Missy. You picked the wrong guy, that's all. Doesn't mean you won't have a great kid." For the first time since he'd arrived, Missy managed a tentative smile. "Thank you for saying that." Beau returned the smile. "I'm going to have a baby sister. I promise she won't have to worry about a thing from the day she's born into the world." Hell, he was worth more than $500 million. He would see the child had everything she ever wanted. Missy's lips trembled. She turned her head and started softly crying. Josie scooted out of the booth. "I think she's had enough for today. This is all very hard on her, and I don't want her getting overly tired." She reached for her daughter's hand. "Let's go home, honey. You'll feel better after a nap." Missy grasped her mother's hand and awkwardly managed to climb out of the booth. Missy lived with Josie, who had taken over the apartment upstairs as well as the cafe, when Evelyn had moved into a retirement home. Beau got up too. Taking the girl's slender hands, he leaned over and brushed a kiss on her cheek. "You both have my number. If you need anything, call me, okay?" Missy swallowed. "Okay." "Thank you, Beau," Josie said. "I should have called you sooner. I should have known you'd help us." "Like I said, you don't have to worry. I'll have my assistant send you a check right away. You'll have money to take care of expenses and buy the things you need. After that, I'll have a draft sent to Missy every month." Josie's eyes teared up. "I didn't know how I was going to manage the bills all by myself. Thank you again, Beau. So much." He just nodded. "Keep me up to date on her condition." "I will," Josie said. Beau watched the women head for the door, the bell ringing as Josie shoved it open, and they walked out of the cafe to the outside staircase. Leaving money on the table for his coffee, he followed the women out the door, his temper slowly climbing toward the point it had been when he'd first received the call. His father should be the one handling Missy's pregnancy. He'd had months to step up and do the right thing. Beau didn't trust that he ever would. As he crossed the sidewalk and opened the door of his dark blue Ferrari, his temper cranked up another notch. By the time the car was roaring along the road on the way to his father's house, his fury was simmering toward the boiling point. Unconsciously, his foot pressed harder on the gas, urging the car down the 2-lane road at well over 80 miles an hour. With too many speeding tickets in Howler County already, he forced himself to slow down. Making the turn into Country Club Estates, he turned again 2 streets later and slid to a stop in front of the house, sending a shower of dust and leaves into the air. The white 2-story home he'd been raised in oozed Southern charm, the row of columns out front mimicking an old-style plantation. Climbing out of the Ferrari, one of his favorite cars, he pounded up the front steps and